A very good evening to our viewers. Welcome to ELITETV. You're watching ELITETV's Open Debate in English. I'm Chongtham Amrita, your host for this crucial debate on the topic KUKI'S Strategic Encroachment of Imphal Valley. A very disturbing news came up in Sanalebak newspaper today. In the already overcrowded Imphal Valley, out of a total of 9,012 acres of land owned by the KUKI'S and 1,500 acres of prime land turns out to have been grabbed using hundreds of fake pattas or fake documents or just plain encroachment. This is very disturbing news because KUKI'S are natural land grabbers as they are classified as semi-nomadic tribe. They don't have land of their own. A study of KUKI history tells us that they have entered Manipur only in 1840. They have been driven out of Mizoram and Chin Hills in Myanmar by more powerful tribes because they are very bad neighbors. In the early months of the Meitei-Kuki conflict, they have boasted about this program called the Imphal Penetration Program, the IPP in short. They have begun renaming of Thangjing Hills and the Kopru Peaks, which are declared as sacred sites by the state government in 2022. Even on the ground as well, there are settlement areas like the Paite Vang, the Kongsai Vang, the Haukip Vang. They all have been renamed by erasing their original names. And it is a strategic pointer to their strategic encroachment of the Imphal Valley. To discuss on this matter, let's welcome our panelists for tonight. Our first panelist is Advocate Junior Luwang, Supreme Court of India. Welcome to Open Debate, Oja Luwang.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you.
Our second panelist for tonight is Oja N. Satyajeet, Bureau Chief, UNI. Welcome to Open Debate, Oja.
Thank you. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you.
And our third panelist for tonight is Oja P. Sonamani, renowned socio-political commentator. Welcome to Open Debate, Oja Sonamani.
Thank you, Amrita, and thanks to my two colleagues, panelists.
Okay, let's start the discussion right away. I'd like to start from Oja Luwang first. That regarding this land grabbing matters using the fake pattas and fake documents, corruption in the revenue and settlement department is one factor which allowed the KUKI'S to carry out so many of fake pattas. And because of that, they have now been able to carry out this so-called Imphal penetration program so silently. Now, what corrective steps can the government take now?
Yeah, Amrita, if at all the information is correct, then it's very disturbing. But I would be confining or rather addressing the issue from a general law perspective, not confined to any particular specific community or a tribal group, because land grabbing and faking pattas or land records in parts of Imphal or elsewhere is basically an important issue. It's a very serious issue which should be tackled as seriously as the issue is. Well, there are two issues here. If I understand correctly from the report in the Sanalebak newspaper, one is that people are using fake pattas or the fake land revenue records to hold land within the Imphal Valley or elsewhere in the valley areas of Imphal. Another is land grabbing. Land grabbing would mean, in my understanding, grabbing land which otherwise belong to the public or the government. That's the second part of it. Now, of course, if there is a fake patta or creation of wrong land revenue records in the names of people who exist, then I think the government should investigate or constitute some kind of an inquiry commission to go into details of every such wrong or fake land record which has been created. Obviously, it can't be the doing of the landowners or the fake landowners or the landowners who have assumed to be so on the basis of such wrong land records. It must be in connivance with the people in offices, settlement offices, land record revenue offices. So one is that people who are holding such land on the basis of fact land records should be held accountable as to why and how they have been holding so. That's the first point of investigation. Second point of investigation should be whether any official or a member of the government agency is involved in creation of such fake patas or land records. There's a second say point of reference for any kind of commission inquiry to be conducted into these issues. Third would be, if at all a commission inquiry is constituted, it can be absolutely executive or it can be judicial. Then I think the commission should also call for some kind of a public, say, opinion or a public, say, information sourcing to know the extent of such land grabbing. Maybe we are talking about 1,500 acres right now, or maybe it is more than that. It just, a tip of the iceberg. The iceberg could be much bigger than the tip itself. It's just a tip. So instead of targeting specific individuals as such which are identified or which may be identified later on, some kind of a general inquiry on the basis of the points of reference which I have just pointed out should be conducted to know the people who are involved, the fake land owners or the land grabbers. Second is the connivance or the possible connivance involvement of government people in this kind of a land scam. It's a very serious issue, and it's an issue which is confined not only to Manipur. I have seen it even in other parts of Manipur or other parts of India as well, including the place I am sitting in, which is Delhi. So it should be tackled as seriously as the issue is, and obviously, maybe even the legal fraternity to which I belong to also has a role in it, in the sense that that they are in a better position to know the legality of such land ownership in and around Imphal or the other parts of the valley region in Manipur. Maybe that, if the government fails to do timely action on these important issues, it's possible for the legal fraternity or any public spirited individual or organization to call for some kind of a judicial intervention from the High Court through a public interest litigation or otherwise, and then get a direction issued to the government to inquire into the matter on specific issues of, say, public importance, namely, as I have just highlighted, people who are involved, people who are the owners or the fake owners of such land, which otherwise is not covered by any legal document or land record or fake pata or any kind of, say, pata, and also the extent of the involvement of the government people or the executive machinery in such a scam. So that's the first step the government should do. And second, you see, as I've said, that the findings of this commission or the kind of mechanism we are trying to put in place to keep a check on such a scam should not be general in nature, should be very specific, to dig out specific names, dig out specific officers who are involved in such a scam, and if possible to ensure that the land which has been grabbed is restored to the government as soon as possible. People who have been involved in such issues are put behind the bar by filing appropriate first information reports or police complaints to the extent possible, and then of course there is a long-term mechanism to be put in place to ensure that such a scam doesn't happen in the future again in the history of Manipur. Yes.
Okay, that's a very good point. Now I'm moving on to Ojat Satyajeet. As Ojat Luwang has just mentioned, that an inquiry commission would be required to know further about this whole incident. And also, I'd like to ask you that regarding this land grabbing case and this fake documents case, it's just the tip of the iceberg, as Ojat Luwang has also mentioned, that the detailed report that was published, it mentions all the valley districts, and similar things could have happened in large scale, since we don't have much reports on the districts of Kangpo, Piju, Chandpur, or even More. So the government why hasn't the government not brought out an updated land record so far? And just in between that, I'd like to mention that the places that this have taken place is just in Imphal West alone. In Lamphel, there is about 2.28 acres of places with under 22 pata, and of which 12 of it is fake. And again, in Konthojam Assembly constituency in Lengangpopi area, there is about 23.32 acres under 30 pata, of which 28 are fake. That means only 2 are legal documents. So this is just for Imphal West, and just selecting just 2 places alone, and they have published all of the valley areas, including Bishnupur, including Imphal East, even Kokching, and we can see that there are hundreds of fake patas. So what about the updated land records that needs to be shown to the public, or even updated?
Thank you, Amrita. At the very outset, I would say that such report is an eye-opening report. We appreciate such kind of report which are done by journalists who have dedicated their lives and who have done lots of research at the ground, and who have visited various offices, and they have brought out such a beautiful report. We have to appreciate, and we have to encourage such reports, so that people, it's an eye-opening report, and I hope such reports come out in the future also. But before coming to that, I would just skip a corruption issue in the entire world. Okay. There is a corruption perception index. It is done by some organizations. What they normally do is they see how corrupt a nation is. Okay. And they give marks also. It is based on a very scientific approach. They do researches, they contact people, they do lots of homeworks, and it is a very scientific approach. And India, out of 180 countries, India is ranked 93.
Which is very low.
Yeah, it's 93. In 2010 to 19, it was little higher. But during the last 3 years, that is 2021, 22, 23 report has also recently come out. It is 93, and we'll find that in the entire Asian countries, only Singapore is considered as the most non-corrupt system, whereas the officials are very honest. I'm bringing out this issue because these are all correlated. When the system is corrupt, when the people are corrupt, then the entire system will go haywire. That's why I'm bringing up this corruption issue. So regarding this land issue also, I would say that this report also indicates that in India and in Manipur, 62% of the citizens, they have at some point of time given bribes to do their works done. For example, I will give this for example, one has to get ST certificate, one has to go to the municipality to get birth certificate for little purposes, to minor purposes. To for example, if I go to the revenue department for mutation to change names and all, they will never give receipts, and we do not have receipt culture also. So this encourages the officials, this encourages the bureaucracy to do
under the table dealings.
Yes. That's why I before coming to the issue, that's why I just raised this corruption issue.
Yes,
so since 62% of the citizens of Manipur and India, they at some point of time they have given bribes, and 50% of the Indians, they said that if they don't give bribes, then the officials, they don't do. This is an official report, or this is we also refer it as to the CPI report also. So this is an indicator of how corrupt our system is. This is a global level. Nobody has denied it, and it is considered as a very perfect system of seeing how corrupt a system is. So this all results into a system where, for example, if I want to do something wrong, then if the system is corrupt, then I can somehow do something which is wrong, perceived wrong also. For instance, if I want to get a pata, then I can go to the offices, and I can do certain things which are illegal also. Mm-hmm. So corrupt system encourages this wrong processes of works, which results in people having false pata, then false certificates. Then so this is not only linked to the land issue also. For example, in the various government scheme also, we find that only the rich they are benefiting from the schemes meant for the poor also, because the poor and those who are not
the targeted beneficiaries are not
yes,
getting reached. Yeah.
Yeah, they are not able to get any benefits of it. So the first primary purpose of this entire nation and Manipur is to root out corruption. Once the system is not corrupt, then there will be no means of issuing fake patta. Then and for example, then as you have mentioned about Lamphel, you also live quite near to Lamphel, and I also live quite Lamphel too. We have seen Lamphel, and since in the 1980s we used to play in various places of Lamphel. It is considered as a wetland area where the horses, the ponies used to play. But nowadays the problem is we have seen in front of our own eyes pockets of beautiful buildings coming up. And when we inquired, they said these are caste land, these are government land, but somehow
yes,
they managed to acquire it. But the problem is those who can get fake pattas and all, they are very rich people, they are highly connected, and only the rich and the highly connected people, they can manage to have fake pattas also. So I think this is high time the government of Manipur starts. For example, we are discussing about illegal immigrants and all, but this is the perfect time to find out how we have given this sort of fake pattas also. And in this regard, we have to understand that all these are in government records, and if the government starts punishing officials, or if they've started punishing not only officials, as citizens who want wrong things to be done, if both parties are punished, then people will not be coming out. So I think the best system will be to root out corruption. Otherwise, as long as there is corruption, there will be fake pattas, there will be fake certificates, there will be illegal immigration. I mean, everything illegal will be going on. So the best system is to root out corruption. And here I would give a certain example. For example, in the Indian system of education also, for example, if you ask any student, what will you do after you do your education? The student will say that after I become, I will try to become an IAS, try to an MCS officer, I will try to become an IPS officer, so that I will be rich, people will respect me. So the normal tendency of education system is where our children, they are more concerned about acquiring wealth, that acquiring a system, acquiring a higher status in society rather than giving to the society. So it has the education system has to change, and the corrupt practices has to change. Otherwise, we'll continue to see such corrupt practices. I think this is the perfect time we do an evaluation of what exactly are wrong, and this is the perfect time also we change the system also. Otherwise, if we don't change the system, such reports will come out, and in the future also it will go on happening. Just like the war on drugs. You catch anybody, next year somebody will go. And the drug issue we have been hearing for the last 20, 30 years, even next 10, 20 years also, if the corrupt practices are going on, we'll see thousands of hundreds of fake pattas issued to the people. Until and unless our bureaucracy, our executives are honest, nothing can be done. I will briefly say in this first round.
Indeed, a very truthful and a very strong opening remarks from Ojai and Satyajeet. Indeed, to root out corruption is the key to all the systems that are needed to perform in a very functional manner. And indeed, bureaucracy is the heart of democracy in the Indian system, in fact. Now I'm moving on to Ojai and Sonamani, that we have heard our previous panelists speak about the land grabbing and the pattas and the fake documents, and also the key evil here being the corruption in most of the departments. And now I'd like to know from you, Ojai and Sonamani, that since a lot of land have been grabbed, and also we know how the KUKI'S can be very violent and how their agenda is in Manipur, do you think that in the future, starting from now, that we can live with the KUKI'S peacefully ever? What do you think, Ojai and Sonamani? Please, Sonamani, is okay.
Yes, Amrita, thanks for arranging such kind of a wonderful topic today, which has really frightened everybody. For me, that it is not to be frightened, because it is a system. So I say that it is why to blame only the bureaucracy and in the downline from the LD, Revenue Department, etc. How about the honorable ministers of the revenue and the government? They are also thickly involved. Yes, since the bureaucracy and the government's agent, they are playing the pivotal role. But behind this bureaucracy and all this, the downline up to the directors, up to the subdivisional collectors, then so many others, the revenue department. It is one of the most highly corrupted department in Manipur. But I cannot blame them alone, because here everything plays with the money. You go to every department for any kinds of particular job. Without money, question does not arise. It is not in the term of the thousands or the hundreds, it's a matter of the lakhs. And if possible, even the crores. It is a chain. This chain is from the peon, from the revenue department, from the clerk, from the officers, so slowly, gradually coming up to the minister. Because revenue minister is always happened to be he is the sole authority. Of course, he doesn't sign it on his behalf. The bureaucrats, they issue. And the directors, they play this drama. But who are also being alleged to have been shareholder. I will say that the people say that they are alleged. No, I say that this from the flag holding this top ranking, the rule framer, right from the top to the bottom, which is involved. For me, there is nothing. It is strange, because we people. We are very easygoing, and I forgot to thank the Sonali Bug editor, who has really worked hard, who has really taken a risk, in accumulating or collecting this such kind of a very, very important and the valuable information, which has really shocked. And for us, it is not a shock because we knew it. Here, everything is through chain. If the minister concerned or the department concerned, if transparency is there or if they are clean, I can assure you nobody can behave. And the persons who are really a clean officer, he will not be allowed to occupy this post. Because revenue department is one of the gold mining for those bureaucrats and for those officers down line and up to the minister in charge. Because revenue minister happened to be the minister has to be the revenue minister. He is the final authority. And small things, of course, it is being managed here, there. So it is not only the land grabbing, it is swallowing the entire Manipuris and Manipur community, Manipur, the valley people. They are swallowing it. It is not the grabbing land that can do anything. Because these are the people, their concern is do or die. Whatever the way, say example, now the Jiribam. I came to understand that through this newspaper, and also I have seen in a couple of occasions Jiribam, the Jiribam is going to become another More. Some section of people, they are trying their utmost and the best that the Jiribam, by any means, they should occupy it, and so that More, this site, and the Jiribam is another site. Both this check gate are being controlled by a particular community. Now, if please see it, it's a small place. There in the Jiribam, it is mentioned that as far this the Kalinagar, then the Kamrang, Jiribam, Baupara, area 26.778 patas obtained, and out of that 191 forcibly or with the connivance. No, I will not say it is a forcibly. It is with the district authority, revenue department there with the full consent. But how it is possible if a district deputy commissioner or the revenue department in his area, supposing I happen to be a Parishad member or the Gram Panchayat, one of the chief in my area, how should I not know that what my people, what my villager, what my land, what my other communities, they are behaving, or they are, so many unpleasant and unwanted things, and the thieves and so many other killer people are available. How should I not know it? If a deputy commissioner, if he fails to, he happens to be the administrative head, he ought to know. There is no excuse that I do not know, it might have done before, or it is not in my knowledge, it has taken out of my knowledge, done through the channel. No, deputy commissioner cannot get rid of or cannot escape from this such kind of a responsibility. So now going back to our 30, 40, 50, 60 years, who are responsible? These are revenue minister, they are solely responsible. Because this has, without the knowledge of the revenue minister, nothing can be moved. Because they are being maneuvered by money. How the Manipur government can say? Two of my colleagues say that transparency. Transparency word in our Manipuri dictionary, there is no transparency word. There is a word they call connivance. There is a word called corruption. Manipur is one of the smallest state in our country, but it is one of the highest corrupted state. Can anybody deny it? You cannot. Everybody knows. Without money, nothing is more. And everybody tries to become a very, very, simple man, and as if that we don't know anything, they close their eyes. Every department you go and every minister you meet, or everyone whom you meet, without paying money or without obliging them, nothing is possible and nothing is being done. This is called the Manipur. It is really, really shocking. I am saying again and again, I will not elaborate it. I will not go beyond 5 to 6 minutes, as I am limited. So, as I am asked to, to say within the 5 to 6 minutes, I will be within the ambit of the 5 to 6 minutes. Here, transparency it will take another 100 years. My friend, Advocate Sab, he had highlighted the commission to set up. Okay, fine. What happened to the commissions? Many commissions. Even the Indira Gandhi's assassination case, till now the final verdict has not been given in 1984. We agree. Legally, so many things has to be processed. As an example, one MLA, honorable MLA, because he has been alleged that he has involved in some cases, or case has been filed. This will lingering almost 5 years. In the fact end of his completion of 5 years, when the next election is likely to be held, by that time the court verdict will come. So now this is the thing. Now the government will be serious in the paper after a couple of years. Who is going to bail the cat and who is going to move it for this? Because everybody is busy for their own respective, their own assignment, and for their own the private matters. Entire state. And our advocate, our friend Satyajeet also said that Singapore issue. Here the Singapore means everybody is a discipline. Everybody is within the ambit of the discipline. Nobody can go. Even a puff of the cigarette is being thrown, on the roadside. He is being punished by the $30. If not the 30 canes in Singapore. This is what I stayed there few months on my official duty. So this kind of things are there. So if at all to be changed or the clean, this should be from the flag wala, not from this chowkidar. The revenue department is a thoroughly and the grossly and so many things happen. It is without money, nothing is being moved. Right from the chowkidar, right from the peon to the flag officer. Our society is highly corrupted. So it will be very difficult. 1 or 2 persons we talk, then they feel that this man is a madman. He doesn't know the procedure. I said, what kind of a procedure? Table ke niche, that procedure we are not familiarized. So we are also shocked. I also suffered it. I know for one small piece, I had to pay 65,000 rupees to get one paper. This is called our government. So I hand over to...
Okay, Mr. Sonamani, I'll pick one point that you mentioned and I will put it forward to Oja Luwang regarding the case earlier. Oja Luwang, you have mentioned that an inquiry commission or maybe a judicial inquiry would be required to bring out the truth of the matter regarding the land pata. So, Oja Luwang, what do you think regarding, let's say that the findings of the commissions are out, and regarding the case of the KUKI'S who are residing in the Valley district, they have all fled Imphal now. Their lands are up for everybody, or even the fake document holders. They have also fled the Imphal Valley. So my question is to now Oja General Luwang is that What will happen now to the land that they have legally or illegally they have grabbed, or they have bought, or they have purchased under their names, and they have occupied it in the Imphal Valley, but they have fled, and there is no chance for them, like in the long while, not returning Imphal Valley. So is there any kind of public auction of their land that can be done, or eviction? What do you think about this, Oja Luwang?
Amrita, I think we are talking about two kinds of land here. One is land which was owned or purchased by a member of the community, and ultimately they had to leave because of the present turmoil, and the land is lying in Imphal, but legally they have purchased it and they have owned it. That's one kind of land we are talking about. Second kind of land we are talking about is land which has been acquired or possessed under a fake land record or pata.
Yes.
And land which has been grabbed by a member of the community, or any member for that matter, or any of the community, which otherwise belongs to the public or the government. That's land grabbing, or maybe it also belongs to another individual, but they have grabbed it without any authority of law.
Okay.
Now, there are broadly two kinds of land which we are talking about. One is a legally acquired land, another is illegally acquired land. Now, as far as the legally acquired land is concerned, they might have fled Imphal because of the present inferno, but they cannot be dispossessed of the land because the land still stands in their name. It can be transferred to a non-tribal, or it can be transferred to any other person of their choice, or a buyer. So that is within their absolute discretion, because they are the owners. Merely because they have fled their land, merely because they have run away to some other place in Manipur or elsewhere in India or outside, it does not mean that that land becomes a public land or a government land, or it belongs to somebody else. So their rights as a owner has to be respected, and then they can only be dispossessed only in the manner they are willing to. They may buy it, they may sell it off once the turmoil goes down at one point of time, so maybe some months down the line, some years down the line. So that's the land, the legally acquired land I'm talking about. Now, the second part, the illegally acquired land, two classifications as per the report. One is land which has been acquired under fake pata. Obviously, a fake pata or a fake, land record does not exist under the eyes of law. Okay. So, that land is as good as non-possessed or unowned by any person, maybe a member of any tribe or any community, but is as good as land which is just lying there without, any ownership rights by anybody. Of course, there could be a legal owner if we trace it through the revenue records, except for that person whoever acquires it through a fake pata or a unlawfully created land records. They don't have any right over it. That's the second type. Within the second type, there is also a sub-second type. As I mentioned it, the grape land. The grape land could belong to any private individual or organization or a government agency, or it could just be public land. They just march on that particular land, declare it as theirs, and then they sit on it. So as far as the illegally acquired land is concerned, there is no ownership right except for the original owner, if there is one. Those people who have grabbed them, they can be dispossessed of that particular land. Whatever structure they have built in on that particular can be demolished. It can be restored back to a public land or a government land. There is no need for any auction, or there is no need for any kind of coercive measure to dispossess them, because they are not owners. We don't have to recognize them as owners because they have grabbed the land. They have used, unlawfully created land records to have to claim ownership rights over it. So there is nothing we can do lawfully to compensate them or to do any kind of, say, any kind of corrective step to dispossess them. They don't just exist, those fake owners. People who have grabbed land, people who have used, say, unlawfully created land records to acquire land. People, government can just march in, demolish the buildings, demolish the whatever structure they have put in, and then open it up to the public, or have the government acquire it or restore it back to the original owner if there is one. That is the second part of it. Now there is an interesting aspect. There is this section 158 of the Manipur Land Revenue and the Land Records Act 1960, which originally stated that that if a land is owned by a member of a tribal community, it can only be, say, transferred
to another tribal community. Yes.
To another tribal community. But fortunately, that this section has been amended in 2022 to say that this provision will apply to only a tribal land which comes under a district council. Maybe they are talking about the autonomous district council, which basically is in the hill areas. So in Imphal, it is possible for any member of a tribal community to transfer ownership of a land otherwise owned by them to a non-tribal, including a Métis. So, Amrita, to the first question, the answer is that we cannot do anything to disturb the ownership of any community member.
Yes, of those who have acquired by legal means. Yeah, so
legal
they cannot be disturbed.
They can only be, as a matter of fact, in fact, a number of, say, offers are seen in social media by members of the community, asking for interested buyers. Yes, because there are no buyers at present as on today. But as things improve, maybe they will come back some years down the line.
Okay, yeah, Luwang, regarding the land acquired by illegal means, on that note, I'd like to pose one question to you, is there a possibility for people who have acquired land through illegal means and they have fake pata, but they have lived in that place for quite some time, maybe for longer than 5 years, for longer than 10 years. So is there a possibility for them to claim that land as theirs in the High Court or the Supreme Court even?
No, mere possession of a land through illegal means or unlawfully does not entitle the owner to any right whatsoever on the land so illegally acquired. So that's the other part. Now, if you ask about auction or possible auction of such land, there is no question of auction of such land because this land otherwise belong to its original owner or to the public or the government. Auction possibly will come only when there is a default in terms of financial payment. Suppose if I sit on a particular, particular plot of land, and if I am defaulting, in terms of payment of, say land revenue or house tax or whatever, and the tax is so much that I can't pay it, I'm given a particular period of time to pay the default amount, then I fail to, and then those are the subject matters of public auction. Those are in different circumstances. Just coming back to what Oza Sonamani and Oza Satyajeet talk about, corruption, yes, is the biggest problem in Manipur. I mean, I have seen corruption elsewhere in the rest of the world also. I was doing a project in Nigeria. It relates to the power sector some years before, and I was very nervous because the kind of corruption which they try to indulge in, they call it handouts.
Yes.
Handout means money to be handed out, and then I was not allowed to receive the remittance also from a Nigerian government. It had to be routed through some local law firm, and that law firm was asking for a big cut. So that's how Nigeria works, and the only similarity or some bit of analogy, I think, or a semblance of it, or bigger or smaller, it's a matter of subjective opinion. But I think that is quite visible in Manipur. I mean, corruption is a big problem. All that we are talking about right now is it's basically an outcome of the rampant corruption in Manipur, which we have normalized. The problem in Manipur is that we have normalized corruption. Corruption is normalized, but corruption is okay. The politicians are corrupt, the bureaucrats are corrupt, People are corrupt because we don't allow ourselves to elect our own people or our own MLAs or MPs without them bribing us. So first we have to stop ourselves to be bribed. We ourselves allow ourselves to be bribed, and then what do we expect the MLAs and the MPs will do after spending crores and crores in the election exercise? So this is the whole, you can say, genus of the whole issue, which has now filtered down to land grabbing, to creation of, say, fake land records in connivance with the government agencies, politicians, as Oza Sonamani has said. It is not restricted to bureaucrats alone. It is quite widespread, because without the involvement of other people who are the higher-ups, politicians, maybe,
okay, very interesting point. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, staying on the topic of this strategic encroachment, now I'd like to pose a question to Ajay and Satyajeet that recently a huge cross was erected in the Tangjing Hill. So we can count it as one of their strategic maneuvers to grab land or even encroach land. So, but Tangjing Peak is declared a sacred site for the Meiteis in 2022, and the KUKI'S have even started renaming it. Not just Tangjing Peak, but also Mount Kabru, even Loktak Lake have also been renamed. So all of this renaming, they are trying to name it as theirs. And on that note, I'd like to ask you, are they now, by erecting this huge cross over Tangjing Hill, are they trying to play the Christian minority card again? And again, a sub-question for you is, I'd like to know regarding the name changing. So is there any kind of law or bill that needs to be passed? Because we know that the assembly is also coming up in a few weeks, in February 28th. So yeah, regarding the name changing and all, would you like to comment on that?
Amrita, a few days ago, the chairman of the Northeast Indigenous Forum, Mr. Barua, came to Manipur. He wanted to see some documents about Manipur. He's an Assamese. He wanted to see some documents of Manipur. And he was quite surprised to see the Chaitharu Kumbaba and all the documents which we have. Before coming to your question, I just wanted to give the importance of Tangjing, the Kobru and such. For instance, the Chaitharu Kumbaba mentions about our king starting from 33 AD. But we have to remember that Meitei is formed by 7 different Salai. And for example, when we talk about Moirang, it starts around 50 BC. The first recognized king Pongleng Hanba, Puriklai Pongleng Hanba, he started his reign around 50 BC. And prior to him, there are about 7 to 10 kings who are considered as mythological kings, and these are all recorded in the Moirang Kangledol and Moirang Nithore Lambuba. But unfortunately, this is not translated to English so far. This is in archaic Manipuri, and only few people can read it. And I also tried to read it, and when I went through it, I found that all these prehistoric kings, then mythological kings, mostly we call them Puriklai. They all refer to Ibudau Tangjing as their god. That means Tangjing has been in existence. Lord Tangjing has been, we have been worshipping since thousands of years. And we have to understand that the Meiteis, they conquered the Moirangs in the around 14th century. By 14th century, the Moirang ceased to exist. And the Moirang kings, they were only for namesake. So, and after that, people of Manipur, they all considered Moirang deity Tangjing as one of the most important god of the Meitei people. So every year, people of Manipur go to Kobru, people go to Tangjing to worship it. So that's how important Lord Tangjing is. And when we come to Christianity, we have to understand that Christianity is a very all religion, respectable religion, the maximum followers. But we have to understand that it came to Manipur only after 1891, when William Pettigrew, he came to Manipur, then he converted. The first convert was a Meitei. Then after that, he went to Ukrul. Then he wrote Tangkhul grammar. Then he taught at Ukrul. And he started the Baptist movement, the Christian Baptist movement in Manipur. So it is a very, very late. It had a very late entry to Manipur, and Tangjing it is a very ancient god, and we have to understand the sentiments of the people of Manipur. I mean, how deeply they are hurt when a cross was erected at Thangjing. We have the highest respect for the cross, we have the highest respect for any religion, but we have to respect each other's sentiments and each other's religion. For instance, for example,
yes.
If you go to Assam, if you go to Kamakya and all, and if you erect a cross over there, there will be hue and cry, there will be riot everywhere. But in Manipur also, they are targeting the people of Manipur by using, as you said, religion to target the Meiteis. So the Meiteis, they are now alien to their own land. For example, they are not able to go to Kobru, as you asked. They are not able to go to Thangjing, and they are not able to go to Nopok. Nopok is near Kwata village in near More. I have gone there. I used to go to Kwata to count the people over there. There are about basically 6 families in Kwata, and you have to walk a little distance to go to Kobru. Then we have the Luwang. These are very important gods, and all our gods are in the hill areas. It shows that we have descended from the hills, and we have all the threads of hills and valley. That is, I gave the little brief historical perspective. And coming to the legal perspective, I think this is the perfect time when indigenous people like the Meiteis, the Nagas, and they are allowed to visit and own land in their own ancestral land. This Kobru, then this Thangjing, these are all ancestral land. But the problem here is, people who have come from outside, they are claiming that our land is their land. This is the crux of the problem, and I think we have to fight it. So I think the first step of the assembly, the governor has issued a summons today that the assembly will start from 28th, and the cabinet has passed has passed a decision that renaming places and giving a new name to place, they will be punished, and the exemplary punishment will be given to them. But here we have to go a little forward from here. For instance, for example, if we get to the United States, and for example, if some Meiteis start settling there, is it possible for us to change the name of that place? No. So we have to respect people, indigenous people, their sentiments, and people those who have come from outside also. They have to understand that people of Manipur have embraced them. For example, the KUKI'S, which we have been discussing, we have given them land, we have given them a new place, we have given them a reservation, we have given everything, food, land. And when we have given them, when we have embraced them, when Mother Manipur has embraced them and given them food and land, I think what they are doing is just the opposite, which is not expected from a civilized community, from a cultured community. I think they are just doing the opposite. I think we do not blame the entire KUKI, but we have to respect those who have already come before 1951. But those who have come after 1951, I think we have to do something about that. And today, during a function also Chief Minister also today declared that those who have come after 1961, Manipur government will identify and evict them or deport them. I think it is a bold statement. I hope the government will do something about it. And I think this is a time also where we change the land reforms. We do some land reforms also because we have to preserve our land, we have to protect our land, we have to conserve our ecological balance, and people are connected to the land. And for instance, for example, if you ask the KUKI'S, I mean, for example, the Meiteis, since we have been living here since thousands of years, we are deeply connected to the land. Even though we are not allowed to settle in the hills, we are deeply connected to the land. We go every year, we worship at Lord Thangjing, at place at Kobru also, and there is a difference between indigenous people and illegal immigrants. I'll give a very brief example. For example,
go ahead.
In the Moirang Kangleron, many people don't understand that there have been 7 incarnations, and Khambat Thoibi is one of them. And in one of the incarnations, that is Henjunha, Henjunha's father, he cut a tree near at Lord Thangjing's place. And what happened was Lord Thangjing asked Ibudau Wangbren to kill him. Since Ibudau Wangbren is considered to be the god of death, he killed the father of Henjunha. So So since and this is the story of about what I'm saying is the story of about 2nd century BC or 1st century BC. I have exactly forgotten. So since those days, people of Meitei, the entire Meitei people, they never cut the trees at Kobru or any of the. For example, this also you can see in our all the Lai Harbor place. For example, we have lots of Kamlang Bed, Uripok, then lots of the places. In those places, we never cut the trees. This is exactly the opposite of those people who have come. They don't have any respect of the land. They don't have any respect of the tradition. This is the basic difference. One is we are culturally imbibed with the entire system. So I think the government should understand what is the central government, and experts should come and understand what exactly is happening, and they will find out that the Meiteis, they are deeply rooted to the land, the sea, not the sea, the rivers, the entire area also. And I will just add one more thing here. When we were seeing the ancient documents of Manipur day before, about a week ago, we found that there are lots of Chingzai road. For example, the Meiteis documented all the hills. For example, Kobru range. They documented what kind of plants grow there, what kind of medicinal plants grow there, what kinds of herbs grow there. I mean, the minerals. We have record everything. If you ask the KUKI'S, they will not know because they have just come a few decades ago and they don't have any respect. So since we have all the documents, since we are closely associated, I think we should put up a new legal system where indigenous people are protected, and our cultural place, our religious place, we can go and pray there. And I think the KUKI'S should understand our sentiments, and they should start doing false narratives. They should stop such evil activities so that we can live peacefully together.
Yes, indeed, very strong and emotive statement from Ojayan said. In fact, I agree with you that Meiteis and in the people of the valley, the Meiteis, that we are in fact very much related and connected to the land in how we preserve the system and how we pay respects to it. And on that note, regarding, since we are all connected, and also since our culture and our all ancient mythology, our ancient scriptures have all revealed how we are connected to the land. Since now I'll move on to Oja Sonamani, that for every year, annually, hundreds of our Meitei youths, we climb the Kobru Hill as our religious rite, as a pilgrimage to the Kobru Hill. And Oja Satyajeet has also put forward that that annually people also visit the Kwata area for pilgrimage. So since the condition now, starting from May 3, all of these areas have been turned out to be red zone that is not able to be traveled. So in that case, is there a way that this religious rite of the Meiteis will be forgotten, will not be done this year? So what about the times, what about the next year, what about the year after that? So what do you think about our religious rite that the Meiteis have to pay respects to Mount Kobru, to Kwata, to Tangzing? Sonamani, please elaborate on this.
What is same, our government. I may be allowed to bring it to your kind attention. In Manipur, there are two laws. One is for the hill people, another one for the valley. So I used to raise my voice, Apna desh mein hum pradesh se. In our own land, we have become a beggar. Shame on the Manipur government and the Meitei people as a whole. Because it is because of the government weakness. In a small state, if they cannot enforce the Indian constitutional provisions and the laws in the hill or in the plain, what does it mean, hill and plain? Are we not the human being? Are we not within the ambit of the Manipur state? This is deliberately, I say again, all the listeners, that my submission is these people, these narco-terrorist people, whosoever might be, that the Satyajeet and our Mr. Luwang advocates and our advocate, but they have already highlighted. Let me not repeat it. That is good enough. That is given the enlightened the entire world. But my submission to everybody is that this particular community who are grabbing the land, who were changing the demography, who were changing the geographies of the Manipur areas, and who are forcibly, knowingly It is not unknowingly, knowingly, deliberately, they wanted to change the name of Manipur. They wanted to completely eradicate, they completely wipe out the Manipuri from the history, from the Manipur land. Still, we are raw. We are not ready to ask them, no, what you are doing is wrong. Only few young people, few thousands people, they are do or die. We people, we are aged. All the government, they go on giving the false narrative. Government gives the false promise. Is it not the false narrative? Like this, the narco-terrorist people, entire world, they have given a false narrative, and we have become a murderer. See, this is the thing. How dare, who came only in the 1840, 1841 out of mercy, Maharaj, the Churachan Maharaj, he had given a piece of land in the Churachandpur. From there, slowly, gradually, today, millions, they have migrated in our own land. In our own land, we have become a beggar. And I question the Manipuri people, Meitei people. Forget about the government. There is no government in Manipur who can shell their motherland. How can I say that they are our parents? Today, the foreigners people, these illegal immigrants slowly, gradually multiplying every day, every moment, supported by some other state like Mizoram, like some other country, they are supporting it. Now it has become, the Mizo, it has become the Chin Kuki land. The Manipur has become a Chin Kuki Jo land. When a belly people does a minor mistake, police are so active, the authority is so sharp. By God, within no time, they will nap and they will go on beating and put them in the lockup. When a murder of people who have killed many people, have they not killed this time? So many people they have eliminated. What the Manipur government action taking, fully supported by the government of India to these narco-terrorist people. I know I am saying against the government of India. I am fully worried.
Sonamani, regarding my question that since this pilgrimage that happens a few weeks after Holi and Yaosheng festival and before the Cheraba festival, which is I think almost next month, it will be happening in a few weeks. So the people would be wanting to go to the Kogrupi to pay their respects, but the road is not able to travel because of this violence. So is there any support mechanisms for this to be done for the youth, for the people of Meiteis?
These questions should not have arisen at all. Any religious or any pilgrimage place, no one has any authority or right to block or deprive their rights. Has any Manipuri people have deprived the Christians or the Muslims or the Sikhs or the other religions when they go and pray and worship? No, we have not done it. Manipur government did not or could not earlier do. Then what they will do now? They will not do it. So naturally, our rights to worship our God is deprived. And it is very much likely. I cannot say that I am not a God. I cannot predict it. But my perception says that we will not be allowed, or we may not be allowed. Let me be very, very vocal. Because government is too weak. Government cannot do it. Might be the governments of India's pressure.
Okay, Sonamani, I'll have to interrupt you because I want to move on to my third round because I have more questions for all of my panelists. So I'll come back to you again in my next round. So I'll move on to Luwang for this third round. And I'd like to know from Luwang is that it has been announced that recently that there will be an assembly session of Manipur starting 28 February. And the 10 Kuki MLAs, they will also most likely be taking a leave again this time like last time. So is there any method for automatic disqualification, or should they be taken under any disciplinary action? Please elaborate on that.
Yeah, Amrita, there is a provision in the Indian Constitution, which is Article 190 of the same document, which says that if a member of a state assembly remains absent for 60 days or more continuously, and that is a ground for declaring his or her seat as vacant by the state assembly, which basically means that the speaker. Of course, any issue of disqualification goes to the governor, and then governor sometimes takes opinion of the election commission of India. But there's a different ball game because there's a process. But as far as the triggering event is concerned, if a MLA remains absent for more than 60 days or more, then he can be say his or her seat can be declared as vacant. But there is a small disclaimer, should I say small but very relevant disclaimer here, that in counting those 60 days, whichever period during which the assembly is not functioning is discounted or is taken off.
Okay.
That's the crux. Now the problem is that I'm not very sure whether the Manipur State Assembly has been in session for 60 days or more since May 3rd, because before May 3rd, I think the 10 MLAs which we just talked about have been absent, not only from the State Assembly but also from IMPHAL. That number, I think, has not come to. Maybe this time it may be insufficient for the Speaker, for anybody to act against against KUKI or the 10 MLAs, because the 60 days meeting period or the time period has not come about now. So we have to wait for some more days for these MLAs to either attend during one of these 60 days, or they don't. But then they don't. Any of these remaining days out of the 60 days, which is mandated under Article 190, then the Speaker can always take cognizance of it and take appropriate steps accordingly. Then there's also another disclaimer which basically says that it also does not include the time frame during which the assembly is adjourned for not more than 4 times. There is also another disclaimer, but these are again calculations which are to be taken into account while calculating their 60 days time for the purpose of disqualifying the MLAs we just spoke about. This is another aspect. Well, though not asked for, I just want to highlight an important aspect from this whole debate, or the starting point of this debate, which is the investigative journalism.
Okay.
Right. Investigative journalism has come up quite well in Manipur. One being that report, if at all that report is correct, and of course, that report can perhaps encompass or can be made more encompassing in addressing the issue of land in unlawful or illegal land reports in the broader perspective, covering all the community members in public interest. And of course, there are also a lot of other aspects of public life which should be subject matters of investigative journalism, corruption being one, and then we have public hygiene issues, functioning of our healthcare facilities, and then distribution of items, the various schemes of the
Yes, Luwang, I'm afraid I'll have to cut you short there, because I think you have brought up a very interesting point regarding that, as you commend investigative journalism. In fact, that is the duty of the media, is just to report to the people, and for the people to take it as into their own hands, or maybe just to spread more news, or for the government to take any kind of action on it. So on this issue, on this theme of the journalists putting news to the people, there has been also one incident recently that is done by the people of Manipur. So I'd like to move that question to Ojan Satyajeet, that since the assembly is going to take place on February 28, and I'd like to put forward the question that there has been a Kangla resolution recently on the 24th of January this year by the Aramai Tengol group, and they have called all the MLAs, 35 MLAs of them, and they have put forth about 5-6 points, and they have taken oath on it. So do you think that this assembly session will include that Kangla resolutions, since all the 35 MLAs have already taken oath to do that?
Amrita, I would say that since the crisis started in Manipur in May last year, the people of Manipur hasn't got the opportunity to see our elected representatives discuss the issue in the floor of the House.
Yes.
The Assembly is the temple of democracy, where all the legislators, where the 60 legislators are supposed to raise issues of Manipur, whether it's a short duration discuss, whether it is a call attention motion or question or whatsoever. And after the method incident, there was just 1 day session. After that, now will be having a session. But it is quite unfortunate that the people of Manipur hasn't seen a full discussion on Manipur issue. We want a full discussion on Manipur issue, and we hope that the issues that were resolved on before Kangla on 24th January are discussed in the floor of the House, but there will be certain limitations in it, because, for example, a suspension of operation, it is a tripartite agreement between Government of India, Government of Manipur, and the Kuki militants. And in the suspension of operation, I would say that in the preamble, there is a sentence which says that the Kuki militants should not discuss the issue of territorial integrity of Manipur. If they speak anything against territorial integrity of Manipur, then the entire suspension of operation is null and void. But the problem is they are now saying separate administration.
So I think, which is a violation of the agreement itself.
And it violates the preamble of the suspension of operation, which is a tripartite agreement. I hope this comes up in the purview of during the next. Before it expires on this month. And the other issue of fencing, it has already been resolved. Then FMR, it has been already been resolved. It has been announced by the Government of India that the execution of the decision has yet to be done, and the FMR, it has to be done by the Ministry of External Affairs. But the Union Home Ministry has given the recommendation to the Ministry of External Affairs. We hope the Ministry of External Affairs does the formal work in a fast way, so that people of Manipur will be happy about it. But the problem is just not promises regarding the whole Kangla issue.
Definitive action. We would like to see more definitive action.
For example, we have 398 kilometers.
I would very much love to hear you more, but I'll have to move on to Oja P. Sonamani for the closing remark, because our time is almost coming to an end. So, Oja P. Sonamani, since we have been discussing regarding the upcoming assembly session, so do you think that any of our MLAs will be able to discuss the issue of KUKI'S IMPHAL penetration program that we have been discussing regarding the strategic encroachment? What do you think about the assembly session? So please, and please keep it about under 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, Oja Sonamani, I think you're on mute, so can you please unmute and then please make it about just 2 minutes, and then we will, we are almost coming to the end because of time issue. Okay.
Our legislators, either they are being hypnotized or they were asked not to open their mouth, which we have seen in the last assembly, hardly 12 minutes, then the House was adjourned. We expect many things to discuss in the floor of the House, but who will bail the cat? If the honorable MLAs are not being permitted that no, you don't speak, say in the parliament, it is happening, say in the assembly, it is happening. We want that it should be deliberated in length and breadth. That's we agreed, but it is not going to be happen most likely. And secondly, just I will say only one word, then I will bid goodbye from all of you. If there is a will, then they can do it. There is a will, then there is a way. It seems that we are absolutely lacking. We are under the mercy of the Bhagwan, but tumhare Ram bharose. This is how we are being swallowed. Our government has to act like a man. And promising, not, converting into the reality, that is also too bad. So talk less and work more. First, you defend our own state. This narco-terrorist people or anybody whosoever, behaving in a very unbecomingly or despicable and obnoxious way, and who's trying to tackle it properly and give justice by tackling it and protect the Manipur state. And there shouldn't be too low. Why you are afraid, government?
Yes,
Why you reply? There should be only one law.
I'll have to cut you short there, Oja Sonamani, since our time is almost up. I would have loved to hear more from you, but until we meet again, we'll have to wrap up this episode for today. I think where there is a will, there is a way, and indeed the theme of the upcoming assembly, because there's lots to be discussed on the floor. So on the topic that we have discussed today regarding the KUKI'S strategic encroachment of Imphal Valley, on the report that have been published in the Sanalaipang newspaper today, there have been acres of land that have been acquired by using fake patas, and it is indeed very discerning and disturbing to become forward. And the root of all of this, we have agreed by the points that have been put forward by our panelists, that corruption is indeed one of the root causes of it, and we are looking forward to the upcoming assembly session to discuss regarding the Manipur issue and all of the resolutions that need to be taken up and to be put more into definitive action to more peaceful Manipur. On that note, I'd like to end today's episode. I'd like to thank our panelists, Oja Advocate Junior Luwang, Oja Satyajeet, and Oja P. Sonamani for joining us tonight. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
I'd also like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. Please leave your comments and feedback with us. We will return again on next Monday with more topics. Until then, have a good week. This is Amrita signing off.